What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush. Let's talk Jets. This video has nothing to do about the team or the NFL. It's completely off topic. So if you're looking for that kind of content, check out the rest of our channel. As most of you know by now, I'm a huge advocate for mental health awareness and just kind of promoting just that it's okay to not be okay, and that help is always a phone call, a text, an email, or a conversation away. And I think right now there's so many people suffering in silence, especially in this chaotic world, where they don't know where to go and they don't know how to get help. They don't know what to do. They just feel lost, dazed, confused, and kind of stuck. Now, depression and anxiety aren't something that's kind of not say for example, depression is not, you walk into it, you stub your toe on a table, you burn your hand on the pan or something like that. Depression is something a lot more tangible than that, where it's like your mind goes into a gray area where you don't know how to get out of it. Like it overcomes you where you don't want to do anything. You kind of isolate yourself. You kind of don't see a light at the end of the tunnel where you think just there's no answers for anything. And it overcomes you. And the same thing with anxiety. Anxiety is where you get to the point where like you can foreshadow things that are going to happen and you get so anxious about it, you don't want to do it. Again, you isolate yourself. You avoid certain things. You avoid certain situations. It can take over your body. You'll sweat. You become uncomfortable. Like it completely takes over your mind. So the trick with it is you got to figure out how to take care of it, right? And obviously it's not easy. And getting help asking for help is probably the most courageous thing you could do, but it's going to pay such huge dividends because what's going to happen is people are going to understand, first of all, because it's a lot more prevalent than you realize, and they're going to want to help you. And then you'll be like, wow, you know what? And they can relate to you. And, it's, as most of you guys know, I'm a huge Shinedown fan, and they have a song, Symptom of Being Human. And they wanted fans to share their stories of what the song meant to them. And for so many people, music is such an outlet where they can relate to certain songs, and it just gives them peace of mind. It helps them, eases their mind. Like for me, it was Shinedown, Linkin Park. I mean, Papa Roach does the same kind of thing with some of his music. And it's just like that, the message they give is so strong and so powerful that you cannot give up. Like better moments are always ahead. And once you get through that little rough patch or dark, however long it is, you're gonna be like, you know what? I got through it. I'm gonna be okay. Things are gonna be better, right? And it's so important to realize that. And I recently watched a video that just hit home so hard, and it was, to me, a perfect example of how our society currently is. There was a young woman that was sitting on the side of a bridge contemplating suicide, and for a period of time, nobody even noticed. People are jogging by, they're walking by, they're on their phones, they're preoccupied with conversation. Nobody even noticed it. Until thankfully, a bus driver saw her, stopped his bus, pulled it over, jumped out, and started talking to her. Hey, what are you doing? Like, can you help? Like this and that. Let me talk about this. Like, this is not something you want to do. This is a permanent decision here for a temporary problem. And thankfully, he saved her life. And to me, it was like, that's exactly what I feel like happens in the world so often where, like, I've had a series of friends that have taken their lives, and I honestly couldn't believe it. I was completely blindsided by it. I'm like, how do you have a great family, you have a great job, you have all these things. Like, how could you consider doing this? I don't understand. But then you forget that depression and anxiety doesn't care about your salary, doesn't care about your house, doesn't care about your car. It can overcome anybody, any race, any age, anything. So I just think it's just, you look at it and it's like, sometimes I think we got to realize, to have more of an environment where people can be more expressive about their concerns, more expressive about their challenges. And that's why I gave all these bands so much credit for being so outspoken about it. Like Papa Roach is saying, listen, he has a song, Leave the Light On, that I think that's what it's called, but it's so powerful. And it's having fans reach out and share their stories of struggles and how they're overcoming them, right? I recently, David Draymond from Disturbed, literally at the concert we were at, talked about it. He said, you know what? The loss of Chester Bennington was terrible. I mean, it hit me hard. Chris Cornell, Scott Weiland. And he's like, what's crazy is I almost joined them. He almost got to the point where he was going to take his life as well, but he found a way to get through it. And it was so powerful. The whole place was quiet. 15,000 people, quiet. Godsmack, another band. They had the Scars Foundation. Like, there's so many people out there trying to do it. And I think as a society, we need to do the same thing. We really do. Like, a text message now takes 3 seconds to check in with a friend, be like, hey, bro, how you doing? Doing good? Everything cool? Like, it's so easy. I think we need to do more of that because this time of year, especially now, the one coming up, is, first of all, the weather's getting nastier, it's getting colder. you're isolated inside a lot more. Now, a lot of times that can be bad if you live alone or if you're with roommates, but you're more secluded because your opportunities to go out are not, could be limited. The second thing is it's the holidays, where it could be a very festive time of year, where Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, where for many it can be a festive time with your family and friends. But for those that don't have that many, families limited or your friends or whatever, like it could be even more difficult, where you see all this happiness around you, you don't share the same thing, and you go into that darkness of yourself, where it's like, man, like I don't have this and I don't have that, and I don't share this happiness. So the first thing you got to realize is you never know what anybody's going through. Because they portray they're happy, you don't know what demons they battle inside. Like I've battled depression for a long time, and I do this show. I'm a instructor at a school. I have a job doing a lot of things where I'm out front and in front of people all the time. And you'll never know what I'm dealing with because I hide it. Everybody hides it. You're like a magician. You can hide all these things until you go home. So first of all, just because what you're feeling, you don't think anybody else is feeling it, many people are suffering along with you. That's the first thing. Second thing is identify what really bothers you. So during the holiday season, if you're struggling and you're seeing things that trigger you, don't involve yourself with those things. Like for me, honestly, I've had to make a concerted effort to stay off social media, because I think social media is such it's just a fantasy land, man. And so many people are firing out opinions and judgments and all this stuff. And it's a weird place to be when you're not in a proper state of mind. So I'm like, you know what? I got to avoid it for a while. I got to stay away from that and focus on myself, my own mental health, to just stay in the right mindset. I don't care that people are like, I sent you, 5 messages. Sorry, man. Got to take care of myself right now. I'll get back to you when I can. So if that means, not being involved in social media, so what? Or if it means, you know what? You got to find things to just really, that eases your mind and makes you feel better about yourself. And that's the most important thing. Like a lot of people will send me messages and be like, hey man, well, how do you do it? Like, well, what works for me may not work for you. Like for me, I took up running, man. Like I run endlessly, and sometimes I run too much because of my anxiety gets so bad that I actually made myself sick. So it's like, all right, I got to find something else to do other than this, because it's almost becoming counterproductive. But you got to find things that you truly enjoy, or you realize that it helps you, do it. And or two things that are not helpful is alcohol and drugs, not medication, drugs. Because if you use that to kind of, calm your nerves or to aid or try to alter your mood, what happens is it actually makes it worse. Because whatever benefit you get for that time being, when you say for example, like I used to do this, I used to get smashed. And then you wake up and you feel 30 times worse about yourself. So alcohol and drugs aren't the answer. You got to find ways, whether it could be music, it could be working out, it could be any kind of hobby, it could be spending time with family and friends. It could be literally reaching out to somebody and saying, I need to have an honest conversation with you. And if it's not a friend or family, there are therapists, there are hotlines, there are text exchanges. There's so many things you can do to just get it out of your system, to talk about it. And it'll be like a burden off of your shoulders. Because I've done it before, and it's not easy, man. I know it's not easy. It's awkward. But what's going to happen is when you start talking about it, people can relate to you. So it's just that video still sticks in my head, man. I have a friend that passed away. I think it's 2 years now or 3 years now, and he was the kind of friend where I always we would text from time to time. It was always like, we should go get a beer. We should go get a hamburger. We talk about it, and we never did it. And when I found out that he took his own life, I was just floored. And I'm like, you dumbass. Like, you can't be that busy where you can't make time for a half hour or 40 minutes to go see one of your friends and have a sandwich or have a conversation and make sure everything's cool. Or just be more proactive with things. It's just like, we need to do a better job of that. Everybody needs to do a better job with that. So I probably rambled a lot here, but I'm gonna do more of these videos. I have a couple streams lined up. Unfortunately, my schedule's been ridiculous. But I guess the moral of this whole story is that if you're feeling down and out and you're struggling, help is around you. Don't give up. Giving up is not the answer. Quitting is not the answer, because you're going to leave such a huge hole in so many lives, because people are going to miss you. Friends and family, everybody. Like, you're a valuable human being. And there's so much life has to offer. And the one thing is, when I've been in some really, really dark moments of life, and it's like, I look back at that and I'm like, can you imagine if I did something really stupid? I wouldn't have been able to enjoy all these things I'm enjoying now, or all these things, however big and however little it is. And the other thing too is, not all your goals need to be extravagant or like just wild stuff. Like I want to be president of the company, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. Create goals that are like achievable. Like if you're like, you know what, I really need to get into running. Don't do a marathon tomorrow, but you know what? Start with a mile. And if you get to 1.5, then 2, or whatever it is, you want to learn how to play the guitar. You're not going to play, Simple Man in 2 days, but you'll figure it out. But like set goals for yourself that you can achieve, and then maybe share your goals with other people, so maybe they can get you help, or maybe they can join you and help you. Like that's something that I try to do a lot, where it's like I'll find things I want to do, but I'll reach out. Hey man, I'm gonna do this. You want to try it with me? And recently, a friend of mine ran a 5K with me. But like little things, like it helps you just get more involved and get your mind and body right. So I guess that's it. If you have any questions or comments, fire them away. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a professional. I mean, I've dealt with this for such a long time, and I try to learn from my experiences and share them. And the other thing too is I see all these things going on now on social media. It drives me crazy. And I'm like, there's some good where people are sharing such a positive, great message, and then there's so much bad with negativity and just like, it's just embarrassing behavior where it's like, man, I hope people aren't really falling for this and letting them bring their mindset down to the place where they want to give up. So that's it. Have a good night. I'll talk to you guys later.